Tammy from US, Texas, on board is speaking at the platform of RESO and briefing us and telling us as audience on the better possibilities, scientific possibilities of astrological and astronomical inputs for the betterment of humanity and society.
The past, sometimes like it becomes very difficult to forget our past because we've done a lot of mistakes, and specifically particularly if I talk about myself, I've done blunders and kind of major mistakes I've committed, so it becomes very literally impossible to forget my past. I know that I can never forget it, but it does impact my present and kind of my thinking capacity and process. So I feel pain, I feel pinch, I feel trouble, I feel sorrow of my past is still happening in my present, and not just happening, that kind of experience comes in my mind, but it also very strongly impacts my present, and by impacting my present it also has the potentiality of impacting my future. So I mean, how handle it, because that's one of the question. Even the present generation, the people who are especially young, they struggle a lot. They've committed something very sloppy or blunder in their past, and now what happens, they're trying to relocate themselves, resituate themselves, should have a better stand in their life, but the past is really playing a fate, or really trying to damage their present stand. So how handle that? Just a comment from your side.
I totally understand that. That can definitely have an effect on us. So, we're here to learn from mistakes, right? We are all doing our best every day, even though our best may be different some days than it is other days, right? But we really are doing our best with what we have, with what we've been given, from experience, from the patterns that we've inherited from our ancestors, from our environment, the way we were brought up, right? So we really have to forgive ourselves. We have to have forgiveness for any mistakes that we've made, and we have to be grateful for what we learned, because if we didn't make any mistakes, if there was no trouble, if we didn't cause problems, then maybe we wouldn't have knowledge, right? So be grateful for what we learned, and then and forgive ourselves for any harm that we have done, right? And then we have to move forward. I mean, and just know and just acknowledge that we've learned, that we're here to learn, and we're children of God, children of spirit, children of Allah, right? We are innocent. We're here to learn. So
Yeah,
making mistakes is part of learning. The study of the wisdom of the stars and the stories of the stars, and that our ancestors gave us, that we each have within us, inside of us, the intricacies to our divinity, so that when we can look to the higher worlds, then we don't so easily get caught up in what's wrong, and we can change patterns. So it's the science of recognizing the patterns, and then learning how to change the patterns so that we can achieve our boldest desires, our highest visions, in more quickly and more effortlessly, and therefore having a greater effect on the world too, around us, and affecting our environment. And that's pretty much what I do. And this knowledge has only been translated from the ancient cuneiform tablets over the past 15 years by astrologers. It was written for astrologers, those of us who astrologers were always the primary consultant and guide for royalty, for kings, and this particular, the pure astrology from the Golden Age, was translated by scholars before, but they still didn't know what it meant. So just recently, over the past 15 years, it has been translated by us astrologers from the ancient languages. Mm-hmm. So we have more of the pure knowledge available, mm-hmm. and we can use this knowledge to help humanity to go where it next needs to go, and for what's healthiest. Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the truth. The pure truth.
See, my question is because the interview is going to happen on 22nd of this month. So just to support, if mm-hmm. it is possible, can you give me some suggestions like how to stay positive, how to be confident in interview, because it becomes very difficult facing boards, and the nervousness happens at post down. So but all we remember, mm-hmm. we just forget about on that at the time of interview. That also happens. So one of the reason I was struggling, and should have not exactly, but that happens quite natural also. But still just wanted to ask you on this.
So according to that particular day, I would have to do research, and I could do research based on the placement of Aquarius too. So that would take some time and some calculations. But I would say definitely do your spiritual work, mm-hmm. to help strengthen and fortify yourself.
Okay.
Right? And make sure that you're clear. So, when we do our spiritual work, when we attach to God, to, Allah, to whatever you want to call the infinite source of miracles and endless possibilities, then that's when we can always stay tuned in to where we need to be. And that right there, that alone can help with confidence and clarity, so you're not doing it alone, right? You're doing it under guidance of the highest power.
A spiritual alignment. Is there a method, a kind of prayers, and how to get aligned with the spiritual connect? Maybe meditation or yoga or some chantings, kind of calculations or whatever.
Oh yes, whatever you feel called to do, right? So whenever I look at someone's horoscope, then I can see what's best for that person. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, if you don't have someone like me looking at your horoscope to help fine tune your best spiritual practice, then just calling on God, calling on Allah, and just making the request for guidance can help you. And even that can guide you into requesting, like, what is my best spiritual practice right now to get me to my highest vision, right? And then listen to the soft whispers and then go do that, right? So sometimes it should be prayer every day, but you may, like, through prayer and through meditation, number one, you will get the messages on what else to do. If you need to reach out to someone for guidance, or if you need to do some chanting or yoga, this type of thing, right? Mm-hmm. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah, that certainly does that, certainly. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like building a muscle, building that spiritual muscle, building that connection, mm-hmm. with the highest source, right? Mm-hmm. Going straight to God, straight to Allah.
Yeah.
And just doing it every day, even for small things. Mm-hmm. Just having that open conversation and with God throughout the day, every day, can help to build that. And then doing your meditation, even if it's only for 5 minutes every day, that can help. Just being quiet and being present, present with God, right? Yeah, and being open to receive.
Okay, that's
So, and that can help.
I belong to Hindu religion, and we do have good number of
Okay.
chantings, meditations, and prayers. And to an extent, I've also been exposed to Christian belief system, but that was just an observation I did. But my faith, my trust, my belief system is Hindu faith I practice. So we do have a lot of invitations and possibilities where we indulge into meditations and prayers and idol worship, visiting temples, different ceremonial things, festivities. So we do have a lot of tremendous ambience and milieu here in India, practicing spirituality at home also. I've learned to quite details, and my personal research and inclinations and kind of thrust is there. So I always remember God, but I mean, it happens the level of nervousness and kind of, that you start throwing fist and you get into troubles when you have such kind of events coming up on your head, like interviews, research presentations, skills, public speaking. So that becomes kind of a phobia and a traumatic thing also, mentally speaking, no matter how professionally qualified you are and what kind of a dexterity you've got. Maybe it may be a high dexterity and professionalism, but at the same time, when the spotlight is going to be happening on you, the nervousness happens to be there. So that is the reason, just want to figure out your personal perceptions and comments, just to take a little respite here.
Absolutely. And yeah, but tapping into your spirituality and your spirituality, your home, right? That Hinduism, if you feel close to that, then that's going to be nourishing for you and comforting. And I would say, like that nervousness, that nervous tension, sometimes we can we stop breathing. We forget to breathe. So just remembering, when you go into your meeting, remembering your breath and really focusing on your own breath and your own breathing, and that will help to keep you present, because the nervousness is also it's a lot of it is because our focus is put outside of us, like, what is this person thinking, or what's going to happen in the future, or did I not prepare enough, right? All these things are coming up, and that's why we feel nervous. And that it brings us out of the present moment. And that's what causes that anxiety. But if we can just stay present with the breath, not living in the future, not trying to live from that other person's perspective, not living in the past of, did I do it good enough, right? But staying present with the breath, because being out of alignment, right, will cause all that nervousness. Living in the future, living in the past, living as through the lens of the other person, or what we think it is, right? Then that can it can take us out of alignment, and we forget to breathe, and then our nervous system starts like doing things, and we turn red, or and yeah, that nervousness can really affect us, right? So really focusing on staying with our breath, staying with ourselves, staying present, making sure our breathing is full. That can really help us to get through these